and starting your own business. Gene and Mr. Dukes will bring you tips and advice from themselves and other entrepreneurs that will help you get started. Have you already started your own business? Then call in and share your story to help other entrepreneurs. That's the Entrepreneur Opportunity Hour every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, you new to the area or just want to know about the best hidden gems and upcoming events? Stay tuned. Be Local Buzz with Devin takes you to these places, introduces you to the best businesses, and tells you about upcoming buzz. Preset your radio to Tan Talk 1340 AM or 106.1 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. That is the Be Local Buzz with Devin on Tan Talk 1340 AM and 106 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. Looking forward to speaking with you.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's now time for Connecting Caregivers with author, speaker, caregiver advocate, and talk show host Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for caregivers.
All the caregivers around the world today, it's time to lift you up. It's time to celebrate. Good afternoon and welcome to Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned on the show where you can find help and hope. And here she is. Lynn, do you remember Lynn Thornley, guys? This is my best friend, my co-host, and my sidekick, Lynn Thornley.
Good afternoon. Nice to be here. Forgot to shut my phone off.
Oh, we did now, though, right?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Take me a while.
But the best thing is that you're here today and you're not in pain. Because you've had
2 months
boob dental work and everything else, and none of that is any fun.
No.
So we're so
I'm
glad.
just dizzy.
Yeah, you are dizzy, though. We're so glad to have you back here today.
It's good to be here.
It is. So I want to give a shout out to our newest listeners. We have Ginny in Pennsylvania, Margie in Georgia, and Gerby in St. Pete.
Well, welcome.
Like I say, there's always plenty of room around the Connecting Caregivers table for new listeners, whether you listen to us when we're live or online on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever they'll take us, because we're here just to help you. And I'm just so excited that you're here today. So we just finished the 3-day caregiver conference.
We? Or
well,
you?
Me.
Oh, Sean was on it, too.
I was there.
You were very
He was
good,
there.
Sean.
Oh, good.
Yes, he was there, and very casual, just sitting on his desk.
Well, there's enough stress in life. We don't have to be all up and crazy. Just take it
Well, I
easy.
have to tell you, this morning on my support group, a new person came to the support group through the conference.
Really fabulous.
And she said to me, so she lives in North Carolina, and her mom and dad live, I think, like in Clearwater. And she said, years ago, my aunt or something had her papers done with Sean Scott.
Oh, really?
But my aunt wasn't like the sharpest tack in the box. So we didn't know if we wanted to go to that guy.
Oh, God.
Oh! Well, that's why she went to him, because she needed
But she
someone
said she came to
smart.
the conference.
Nice,
She came to the conference, and she's all good. So I said,
What about that Sean Scott guy?
yeah, what about it? What about
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, but you know what? I'm just glad that, just one person came to the first support group since then. More people will come to the support group and the journaling workshops through the because I think everybody's too tired, because I'm telling you, 21 hours I'm staring at this screen and speakers are talking and I'm putting in my 2 cents and questions and answers, and it's intense. It's intense. But we had over 787 registrants. We probably had an average of about, 100, 125 per session.
Perfect.
Which makes me really happy.
Did you turn on the Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, 256.
I can't see. I told you.
Because we have like buttons to push here, and there has been an occasion where I've missed pushing the
Forgot to push
button.
the button.
And I don't
So.
see movement, so I thought, well, maybe we're not on.
Yeah, and she has her pen, like she checks off stuff on the list as I'm supposed to do it, in case I don't.
Facebook checks. Yes, exactly.
Yes, that's exactly. So today we have Sean Scott, as always, the first Friday of every month. So
Good to be
please
here.
feel free to call in at any time at 727-441-3000 with any questions. But we also have Jordan Selders here today. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, we met a couple of months ago at an Arden Courts networking event, actually.
My first one.
Yeah, he didn't even have a business card. He put his little
That's
phone
true.
number on something. And it took us a couple of months, but we finally hooked up and we spoke a little while ago. And I love what you do with Florida Family Transitions because there are real estate companies out there that just do real estate. There are some that cater to seniors. There are some that cater to different populations. But what your company does really excites me. So first, I'd like you to tell me a little bit about yourself and how you decided to do this.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I've kind of been in the real estate fairly new, I guess. I am fairly young, I guess 30. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
I don't know
At
where
this table, you're a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know where to consider 30 now. I'm
Yeah.
confused. So
30 something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been in real estate for like 5 years now. My background, I'm from West Virginia, small town, so grew up there, and there's not too much culture. And then I moved to Miami. I'm like, whoa, I was
That's a culture
I was
shock.
culture shocked down there. But after being down there, I worked with a lot of at-risk youth and stuff, and I just got that that heart feeling of kids that wasn't as privileged as I was growing up, and just
Right.
Giving them a Gatorade or something after a sporting event meant the world to them. I was like, man, like if I could just find something like this to do,
It gives me that.
that heartfelt feeling. So I got into real estate a little bit, and helping the first time home buyers. It's kind of the same feeling. It wasn't as much as I felt when I was working with at-risk youth. And then I got into helping seniors and recently going into some of these communities and stuff, and just hanging out and like just giving them that time and
Getting to
just,
know them.
Yeah. And I felt that tingle again, and it just I was like, all right, this is the right spot. This is where I need to be. This is what I found it. So so I've been with the company I'm with now, Florida Family Transitions, for 2 years now. I moved from Miami here after COVID. I couldn't get big groups of kids together anymore after that, so I kind of lost that position and got hooked up with the company here, Florida Family Transitions, and it's been great. I mean, we've done a lot of good work, and I have stories for days. So
let's hear one. So tell me one about that you told me the other day.
Yeah. So we do. We are a real estate company, so we personally buy the homes and fix them up and then resell them later.
So you personally buy the homes. That's a whole different deal.
Yeah,
No,
not me
you.
personally, but the company, yes.
Right.
Absolutely. So so we do that. We take care of like all the repairs, so that way some of these people, like the seniors, they don't have the time or the
strength.
resources, or they're focused more on the care or what community they're going to transition to next. They don't want to deal with a contractor that doesn't show up and they have to find somebody else, or somebody does a shoddy job, and then they're kind of stuck with that. And so we take care of all that. That's one thing we like.
And you'll even take care of like getting rid of their stuff.
Exactly.
That nobody wants.
Yeah, that's a big thing. We there's a lot of things that kind of get collected over the years, and maybe not everything can be taken into the community, so they can take whatever they want and then leave everything else behind, and we'll handle that. So
Well, you said you took some things into this one community for gentlemen. You're like, whoa, only so much stuff fits in this room.
He wanted to take a little bit more, and we kind of had to hold the reins a little bit on some of the stuff that he was taking, but
you're there to guide him.
Exactly.
But then you're not just left there. Okay, figure what you're taking. What are you doing? How are you going to get it there?
Exactly. I mean, in that specific case, we were more of like his like he didn't have a family to kind of lean on to go through those memories with him. So, I was there going through a bookshelf with him of the pictures that he wanted to take and stuff. And, it was just, that's that tingle that I felt like it gives me chills now, even, talking about it. It just happened this weekend. So, just kind of going over that with him, seeing, that light up in his eyes of, oh, this pictures is, from the 1950s. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
1950s.
And it is cool though to look at those pictures. And to reminisce with that, especially for him. This is a new person being interested.
Exactly.
In his stuff.
Exactly. And that's the thing. We try to build that trust at first, like, because it is a scary, stressful process. Making that transition not only, but then having to sell your home, whether it's listing it or us buying it, it gets very stressful, and there's a lot of emotion and memories connected to these homes. So we're very delicate, and we try to be as transparent as possible, and show that care and compassion, because we know it's a tough process. So we just try to make it as smooth as possible.
Well, you had said to me too, one of your clients needed a little money up front that they didn't have.
Yeah, so that's another benefit. If we're personally, even not if we're gonna list it, we can still do these same things. But he didn't have enough liquid funds to put the deposit down on a community, so we were able to help him put the deposit down, and then when we purchased it, that was repaid after that. So
who does that? Not too many people.
Yeah, we try to make it again. So his situation was a little difficult because we were planning to list his house and take the 3 months that it took.
Right.
Usually takes to sell a property now in today's market, but he had a little incident where he had a slip and ended up in the hospital, and then in a matter of days he couldn't go back home. So we had to change that strategy on the fly to where now we're not going to be able to list it. We're going to have to change it to buy it, and then.
But you did it.
Yeah, we did it.
But you did it.
Yeah, we just closed
because
yesterday.
to somebody else, they might just be stuck.
Yeah,
now I'm
exactly.
stuck in the hospital. Everything has stopped. Nothing's happening. It's not helping me, and it's just making me more stressed.
Exactly. And he didn't have, unfortunately, there was situations that arose, and he didn't have any funds in his accounts to, even get into a community. He was just in a rehab center right now, so we were able to bridge that gap. Loan him those funds to be able to, get into the community, and then close on his house in under. It was like 2 weeks. I think we closed on the house.
Yeah. I love when people find solutions. I have a friend of mine, Frank Pasco, that helps people move into senior communities. And this was a while ago. And so this gentleman wanted to move into this senior community, but he was like $300 a month short, whatever it is, and was going to make it impossible. So Frank got him a job there playing the piano.
That's awesome.
Fabulous.
Yes.
And I love people that find the solutions, because
Yeah, it's a
if you
win-win.
want to, you can find ways. If you care enough, you can find ways.
Exactly. And that's, I like to say we're a real estate company, but we're just a problem solving company at the end of the day. There's a problem that comes to us, and some people maybe aren't as, flexible, or I don't know. I like to think outside the box. Like, our company is very big on personal development and stuff like that. So just, being able to collaborate, and we're a small local team, so we're all here and we can, kind of bounce ideas off of each other pretty quick. And
well, you're selling a house or you're selling a property, but what you're really doing is you're changing someone's life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big transition, and to have somebody there to hold your hand and is going to guide you and show you where resources are that you probably don't have any idea about is just huge. So do they have to pay you commissions?
No. So if we personally buy the house, our company, there's no commissions, like realtor commissions, or at the end of the day, and then there's no closing costs as well. So we handle all that. That's one of our benefits of choosing that option. It kind of equals out as listing a property. So even though the listing price might seem more, at the end of the day, you have to pay those commissions and it docks it down. You might have to pay from inspection fees that that docks it down, and then obviously closing costs. But we try to take care of all that and give you a flat rate at the end of the day of just being transparent as possible and saying, hey, this is, if you want to do this route, or if you want to take this option and listing it and you have the time to wait, then yeah, we can go that option.
Okay, so let's say I'm in a mess and I need major repairs, or I'm behind on my taxes, or there's liens on my property.
Yeah, that's
then
our bread and
nobody
butter.
wants to talk to me.
Yeah, that's our bread and butter. So that's kind of like the option of, it's not going to be able usually to be listed if there's a lot of repairs, because these first-time home buyers, coming in, they want everything turnkey. They don't want to usually put in the work like we do. So yeah, all that stuff, we work with some really good title companies that make sure everything is, clean on the deed part and everything like that. And also great attorneys as well, just to make sure everything's buttoned up and professionally done.
And you know what? That can make a big difference for someone who is home now, who is by themselves, who needs to maybe just go into assisted living, to have some socialization, to have someone make their meals, to have one. And they think, oh, well, I'm in a mess here because I owe taxes, or but they still could make a difference, and they can still make that change. And that could be a really big deal for someone.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that one gentleman, he didn't, like I said, he could have listed like that. That was our plan all along, is to list it. But it just didn't work out. And in a matter of, seconds, it was a crisis situation. And we're a company that can be able to adapt pretty quickly to that. So,
well, I think it'd be pretty cool too, because you can deal with the families of the people out of town, because the Florida deal, mom and dad moved here to retire, and now they can't take care of themselves, and I live in New York.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the great thing, being connected with, people here, I have those other resources now where maybe last year I didn't know all the ins and outs of the senior industry. So that's why I kind of wanted to focus on that more this year. But now, just having, these other resources I can offer, because, selling the house is one thing, and then
moving
what's
into
next?
moving
what's
into a
next?
memory community or assisted living or an apartment.
Exactly. And then I didn't know what I didn't know, so I didn't have those options to give them. And that, that's the big difference now. I can, refer people like, oh, I met with Linda and she's great, and she can,
Or Bernadette.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Frank Pasco, he's a great guy. He'll get you in the
Scott.
right.
Yeah.
Sean Scott. Yeah.
But it's true, and I always say I'm very blessed to be in this Pinellas County, Tampa Bay community where professionals work together, want to make a difference, and then I go speak in another state, and probably there'll be vendors there if I'm speaking. Don't talk to him, and he's stepping on my toes, and no.
Yeah, there's something, especially since I've been going in January. I'm fairly new still, so there's just something different about these networking events and the people in this community that just make a difference.
Because we have enough old people to go around.
And Sean,
So we
you've seen
share.
that. You've seen that in the industry, the 33 years you've built your business.
Oh, no, exactly. This is very interesting. This whole idea of transitions is a big deal. So you're getting older and you want to move into a different community that's maybe a senior independent living setting, or maybe you're moving into an assisted living even type of idea, and you're transitioning from one thing to the other. Your home is a big deal. It's one of your biggest assets that you have. And it also, when you're transitioning, we may be going up the ladder on the level of care. And when you go into an assisted living facility, there may be some additional costs associated with that you didn't have when you were living back in your own home.
Right.
And well, where I'm going with this is that when you're transitioning from your home into an ALF or even an independent, it's kind of writing on the wall, so to speak, that something's going to be happening with your needs for care. And that comes at a cost. And your next discussion should be, how am I going to pay for that? And how does Medicaid come in to help me pay for that? And what happens when I sell my house? How does that impact my eligibility for these benefits? So you need to have some coordination there, because usually your house doesn't hurt you for eligibility. But, I'm now living in an assisted living facility or independent. What do I need this house for?
Right.
So I think we need to have the next discussion is all right, so I am transitioning, but what do I do with the proceeds from the sale of this house?
How do I protect
How do
whatever
I protect
have?
and preserve that to make sure that the cost of my care, great. Yeah, I just got a great deal. I've transitioned. I got my house sold, and now I have $150,000 or $200,000 in the bank, and I'm disqualified for benefits to pay for this new cost of care I have. And I'm in an assisted living facility. It costs $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and well, there goes my $100,000 pretty quick from the sale of my house. So I think we need to have that next discussion is after or as part of selling this house, what are we going to do with those proceeds?
Yeah, and once again, we want to start these things early. We want to have these conversations early.
Absolutely,
I'm not I'm selling the house in 3 weeks.
It's a kind of look before you leap type situation. Don't make these kind of decisions in a vacuum. Understand the repercussions of what that house sale will do, and it can negatively impact your ability to qualify for these benefits. But there's solutions to fix that problem.
Yeah, I think so many people get paralyzed with fear.
Yeah.
So they don't
I
do
agree.
anything.
Yep.
They don't do anything. And come on, are you going to go on vacation and not fill your car with gas and not have your new tires? I mean, really, people plan more for their vacation than they do for their senior year.
No kidding. And I think a lot of times it's just out of not knowing. I mean, that unknown situation, you don't know what he said earlier. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so the choice of inaction sometimes seems like the better choice. It's not, obviously, but it seems at the time.
Yeah. Well, that's why, I love all the caregivers that listen to the radio show or the conferences, because they're the caregivers that care. They want to learn more. They want to be able to take care of their loved one and themselves better, because if they know that my loved one can be taken care of this way, how much stress that takes off of them. Because like I always say, you don't want your last years, your last months, or your last days being with your loved one where you're stressed out of your mind, where you can't think straight, where you're worried about money, where you're worried about bills, where you're not worried about care. There are many ways that you can do to to prevent that.
Right. And that unknown is incredibly fearful. I mean, not knowing these
Incredibly.
things. I mean, in that dark room is very scary. A dark black room is very, very scary. But if you turn a light on, if you have a flashlight on in that room, all of a
much
sudden those fears go away.
Yeah, and if you hear another voice in the room, then you're like, okay.
So you need to go out and get. There are many people out there that have options for you and that have insight that you don't have. And
Yeah.
seek that out for sure.
Yeah. So Jordan, if how long will it close once someone signs an agreement with you?
So yeah, that's kind of the beauty of if we purchase a property, we're super flexible. Like obviously, as the example I gave before, it's kind of on our client's timeline. Whatever kind of day they want to close, we can close it as fast as 2 weeks, which we did last week. And then if they need a month and a half, we can work with them with that. So yeah, it's kind of just open on that side, kind of flexible. Listing, obviously, if we list a property, it's not really in our control of when buyers and stuff come through. But yeah, if we're personally purchasing it, then as little as 2 weeks.
You have your network.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us today. What's the last thing you want our caregivers to hear, and where can they find you?
Yeah, so the last thing is I'm just super appreciative, just learning everything. So I really appreciate you guys for inviting me on this show
problem.
and everything, and just want everybody to just take care and just enjoy life, I guess.
And where can they find you?
They can find me, again, my name is Jordan Selders. They can find me at floridafamilytransitions.com.
And your phone number?
My phone number, I don't even have that one down yet.
727.
Yeah, 727-291-7979.
Okay, and I'll put all that information in the show. So thanks so much for being here today.
I was nervous. I had to mess up something.
It's okay. No. Now it's time to hear from our wonderful partners. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
Sean W. Scott has been practicing elder law and qualifying clients for Medicaid for over 30 years. While his practice is in all areas of estate planning, such as durable power of attorney, healthcare surrogates, and wills, he also prides himself on having a 100% accuracy rate on getting clients approved for Medicaid. Why Medicaid, you may ask? Do you want to pay up to $16,000 a month for a nursing home should the time come? Obviously, no one wants to have to endure this cost. So even though you may have planned well for retirement, the reality is things happen. Planning ahead is never too soon. You need to make sure your income and assets are protected so that you can take care of you and your loved ones. Florida law is very specific on how and what is protected and how to protect it. Give Sean a call. He can help. 727-539-0181. That's 727-539-0181.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
That can be back.
And we are back. And so we were just chatting a little bit during the break, and Sean was part of the conference yesterday. Thank you, Sean. Or the day before.
Yeah, it was absolutely fabulous.
Absolutely
really fun.
fabulous. So what were we just talking about on break?
Well, when we're talking about transitioning from one level of care to the next, the term level of care is kind of a term of art in this quote unquote industry that we work in. When we serve seniors, they have a level of care. We actually all have a level of care.
Right.
We take it for granted that we're independent right now, but at some point in time, we may not be in an independent situation. We may need additional help. Help would come in the form of help inside your home or help inside of an assisted living facility, or ultimately from a skilled nursing facility in a nursing home.
Right.
So each one of those represents a different level of care. And when we're transitioning, and I like that word, when we're transitioning from our home where we're independent and now we're going into a different environment, a community of some sort. That community can be independent, quote unquote, but
Right.
it's you're kind of there for a reason because your home
Exactly.
really wasn't meeting your needs any longer, right?
Right. My mom was an independent because she couldn't mow a lawn. She
Right.
wasn't going to take care of a roof, and there were meals there every day.
Correct. And so that means she has a little bit higher
Right.
level of care now, right?
Right.
And so sometimes when you're making, a lot of times actually, when you're making that transition from your home to a different type of community, so to speak, it's kind of a little bit of a warning sign, a little bit of a light bulb going on that says, hey, things are changing here.
Where am I going down the
Where
road?
am I going down the road? All right, I'm not as independent as I used to be. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's progressive. So the first step in this level of care from your home may be to independent, quote unquote, independent living. But the next step is going to be assisted living.
Right.
And assisted living or care inside of your independent living situation that you
Right.
have comes at a cost. And a lot of times we're looking for help to pay for the cost of that care. And that's oftentimes coming from Medicaid. And Medicaid has certain eligibility requirements as far as how much assets you can have.
And how long have you been doing this?
33 years.
And you've never flogged once.
Never messed once. Exactly. So when you sell your house, the house, when you're looking at benefits for paying for care, is not counted against you. I mean, Medicaid comes in and they say, well, it doesn't matter what the value of your house is for all intents and purposes. However, when you sell that house, you're converting it from an asset that's not counted into a pile of cash, which is counted against you, and it will disqualify you for these benefits.
Yeah.
So we need to have this discussion as part of the transition that, okay, great, we're going to make this happen. We're going to help you bridge over here. We're going to get you into a community that's more appropriate for you and more helpful and better for your lifestyle and your living situation. But you need to have that same conversation. And that needs to have a discussion regarding Medicaid and what are we going to do with the proceeds from the sale of this house? I mean, it's got to be part of that situation because otherwise you're going to be very surprised when you apply for benefits and you're denied.
All right. So you talk about trust.
Well, trust is an issue. When I solve this problem for my clients, I'm not taking their money and placing it into a trust necessarily. Usually when we're talking about trust, we're talking about estate planning. Where does your stuff go when you die and how does it get there? And a trust can be a real good way of doing that. But when we're looking at Medicaid eligibility, we're looking at what are we going to do with the assets of the client? How are we going to preserve and protect them so that when they need this care, that they can get benefits to pay for it?
So if you put that money in a trust, can you take it out anytime you want?
Well, normally in a regular type of situation for estate planning purposes, you're putting your money inside of your trust that you're in charge of, that you're in control of, that you have absolute authority to do whatever you want. You're not losing any control when you use a trust.
Okay.
So a lot of people think you do, but
When you die, you can't touch your husband. So
well, it depends.
I'm just letting you know.
Well, when you die, you definitely can't touch your trust. I can tell you that right now.
It depends how things are worded. What else you can do?
Exactly. So again, I love today's topic of this discussion of transitions because all of my clients that I'm dealing with are definitely going through a transition.
Come
I mean,
on.
they're moving from one level of care to another, and it can be extremely frightening and scary because you're faced with this. Oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for this?
Well, especially the generation that we're talking about.
Yeah,
These are
I
people
agree.
that worked hard their entire lives.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that's ahead of me, they went through everything and saved and scrimped and wanted to take care of everything. And now the fear of, I'm going to need help and everything that I worked for my whole life is going to go away and I'll have nothing for my kids.
And I had a client this morning who was sitting there with the daughter, and daughter's like, well, mom has plenty of money. And I'm like, okay, yeah, so she can take care of all of this problem. I'm like, okay, how much money does she have? Well, she has about $150,000.
Oh, wow.
And that sounds like a lot of money. Okay,
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, wow.
It is. But if mom goes into a nursing home and it costs her $10,000 a month to be in that nursing home,
Right.
$150,000 will last you 15 months. And then you're zero.
She must have been shocked.
So she's like, well, my point is that you do not have enough money to take care of this problem. It's going to be gone like that in a snap of the fingers. So
And what happens if they don't take care of the problem?
that's what I'm saying. All the money.
Right, so then the money runs out. Then what happens?
And so that's funny. We have a saying in my office that there is a plan that is very easy to implement to qualify for benefits to pay for your care. Just spend all your money till it's gone. We call that the do nothing plan. So if you do nothing about this, eventually it's going to solve itself. The cost of that plan will be literally everything you have.
Yeah.
That's not a good plan. So planning ahead of time, we can preserve all of those assets, qualify you for benefits, make sure that those funds are available there for yourself, for your spouse, and for your family. Or the alternative is watch it go out the door.
And the question, I know the question you get all the time, is this legal? I know you're an attorney, but is this legal? Because it seems a little fishy to me.
No, and I get this all the time. I think that on topic of the conference talk that we did on Wednesday is this legal? And I understand why you'd say that, because it's seemingly this can't be that I can keep all my assets for all intents and purposes and qualify for these healthcare benefits to pay all the cost of my care in a nursing home. How is that legal? Yeah, it very much is under the sounds too good to be true column. And I'm telling you, it is true. And it is legal, 100%. Yeah. That's why you have somebody like me guiding. Yeah, I've done it for 33 years. You think I'm still here?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the opposite actually happens is, when we're in the office and I'm walking through the hall and I see one of my staff and my paralegals or Medicaid specialists, and we just shake our heads.
Yeah.
Like, how does anybody do this without help from somebody like us? It's absolutely crazy. And we have come up with a theory. And our theory is the people that qualify for these benefits are probably not telling the truth when they do the application. They omit things, or they don't think, I didn't think that was an asset. I had a lady that came to see me not too long ago. She's a very nice person. She had qualified her husband for benefits, but she had sold her house before she moved here. And I thought she bought a new house when she got here. Oh, no. She gave that $200,000 to her 83-year-old mother, then applied for benefits down here for her husband and got approved because she never told them that she gave the money to her mom.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is a foul and a felony and illegal. But she didn't know any better.
She didn't know.
So that's where I come in. I make sure that you don't have those kinds of problems.
So I had somebody, knowing that you're going to be on the show today, sent me an email this morning and said that, let me think if I can remember everything clearly. She said, my mom lives with my sister and her son. My sister is power of attorney. Her son is a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like her son is stealing from my mom and probably from his own mom and doesn't even know. But my mom doesn't want to hear anything about it. But I'm afraid that they're going to use everything that she has and she will have nothing for her future. What do I do about this?
I have seen that problem before.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like it's kind of, it's actually in variations on the theme.
Yeah,
for sure. Not all of your kids are good kids. I mean, and that doesn't mean you're a bad parent. It just
it could be your favorite kid. Doesn't mean that they should be in charge of any of your stuff.
I agree. And the problem is that when we have a child that is kind of pulling resources away from their parent or parents for whatever reason, they either have addiction issues or they're not working,
they don't work or
whatever. Again, that does happen. Okay, all that money that's going to that kid is actually disqualifying you from Medicaid benefits, which is huge because it's considered a gift, and Medicaid doesn't like you to give money away. So here you are giving money away to this kid, and you are literally shooting yourself in the foot every month when you move that money to the kid. So that's bad. Okay. Now, there can be legitimate reasons why you're supporting this child. I mean, lots of different reasons why you're doing that are valid. Okay.
Yeah.
That's stealing.
Whatever. Right.
So there are ways that you can move money from yourself to your child that will not make Medicaid and the state of Florida angry. So that's where somebody like me again comes into play and says, well, I want to move this money, but I don't want to have a negative impact on my eligibility for these benefits because I'm 83 years old. I'm not moving. So I'm 93 or however old you are. And you can see this problem coming in the future. Every time you give some money to your kid, you're disqualifying yourself from Medicaid. I mean, I think that's even worse than just having your kid take your money because there's this other huge negative impact. But we can show you how to move those funds from you to anybody else in a way that Medicaid will not be mad about.
Okay, but I think one of her part of this main question is, how can I change power of attorney?
Well, that's easy. Can be easy. Mom has to do it. Okay, you can't.
Mom says, I don't want to mess with sister.
Correct. This
But
is
I think sister's not taking care of mom properly. So what do I do?
so if mom's competent, okay,
Yeah.
mom has she's the only person that can change her power of attorney. You can't change it for her. You have to encourage her and have the talk and the discussion of like, maybe there's a better choice here. But if she's digging her heels in for whatever reason, you're stuck. However, if mom is not competent any longer, and then the play is to file a guardianship. And what that can do, that'll remove the power of attorney's authority to act and then replace them with a guardian.
So then the guardian will have the power.
Correct. So,
And that's appointed by the court.
by the court, correct. It's kind of a nuclear option in some sense, but when a power of attorney is acting in a bad way and you need to kind of get them out of that position, the way you do that is to file a guardianship. And that
So I got to file a guardianship and say that my sister's not capable of being the power attorney
It's
for
not,
my mom.
no, it's that mom's doesn't have capacity. And since mom doesn't have capacity, and she needs a guardian, then they'll come in and they can take the power of attorney out of the picture and replace it with a guardian. So, and we don't like to do it, but we've done this in the past. Yeah, so that's how we fix that problem when there's a bad actor in the situation.
Yeah, and I get concerned because I see that a lot,
Yeah,
and I hear about that a lot.
It does happen, yeah.
And many times mom's just not capable, but nobody even realizes she's not capable. So nobody's doing anything about it. And then all of a sudden there's nothing left.
I think vigilance is important. You need to be keeping an eye on things and watching what's happening. But it happens when, you're distracted, you're a family member, your son, and the daughter's in there taking care of things. You're assuming that it's all fine, but lo and behold, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be difficult to catch.
And life happens.
And it happens.
And life happens.
Here's the good news is the
Okay.
majority of the clients that I deal with, I've been doing this for 33 years and 10,000 plus clients. And very, very rarely do I see bad actors.
That's good.
Yeah, it's less than 0.5% or less. I mean, it's very rare. So that's the good news.
Yeah, there are many people that are bad caregivers. They're not stealing from their mom or dad. They're just not a good caregiver.
I see that a lot, yes,
Yeah.
but not on purpose. They're trying. But
No,
they're just not.
they're just not
can't any
capable.
longer. Not
Yeah.
capable any longer. Correct.
And that's okay too. I'm not saying anything about anybody that's taking care of someone now and is totally overwhelmed and thinks maybe it's time for my loved one to go into community. I'm not saying anything against you.
Oh no.
Please don't ever
If
think
anything,
that.
I'm saying the opposite. It's like, hey, sometimes
You want them
can't-
to be safe.
I want you to be safe and I want you to be successful in your role. And sometimes you will reach a point, not sometimes, you will reach a point where you are no longer able to do the caregiving role.
Right.
And recognizing that time is incredibly hard, especially if you are self-recognizing this.
Mhm.
So listen to the people around you. When that kid comes down from Chicago, hasn't seen you for a couple of months and goes, whoa, what?
You look
what is-
terrible.
Yeah, you look, what's wrong? All right. God, dad's really gotten worse. You don't look okay. Is that, maybe they are seeing a new perspective here that you
Because you don't
have.
see it day
You're
by
too,
day by
you're too
day.
close to it. Yeah, absolutely. Too close to it.
Day by day.
So, listen to those people around you. I know it can be hard to say that you can't do it anymore, but at some point in time, you can't.
Your loved one doesn't expect you to go
I
that
agree.
far.
I agree.
Many times, if your loved one is not capable of saying it, but they're still there, and that's still your husband of 40 years or whatever, and he does not want to see you as a caregiver. He wants to see you as his wife,
Correct.
and he wants to spend time with his wife. And you need to get in some help, or you need to go to a community. And getting help is not being weak.
And it's not failure. It is
No,
not, you're not
it's being
failing.
strong.
It's being
It's-
strong. Exactly.
Yeah.
Help me help him.
Right.
So.
Right. If anybody else asks you for help, you'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll help you. Yeah, I'll do
exactly.
anything
So
I can.
we would never say no.
And please let people help you, because I have to tell you, I've repeated this story again, but I'll repeat it again. After my mom passed away, I was in the supermarket one day, and one of my friends said to me, "How you doing, Linda?" I said, "I'm okay." And she said,
Mhm.
"You know what? I'm sick of hearing that from you."
Mhm,
And I just
mhm.
looked at her.
Yep.
And she said, "I have to tell you, when you were taking care of your mother, you stole my joy." I was like, "Oh, what?"
What?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she's like, "I could see you swimming in quicksand.
Yep.
And every time I asked to help you, you said, 'No, I'm okay.' And you never gave me the opportunity to meet your mom."
Mhm. Yep.
She should have told you that while she was alive.
Yes. And so I hope more people will encourage
Yeah,
people
when
to do
you're
that.
alive, and then she would have had
Is to
to.
say it.
But to make you feel worse after your mother's dead is not the best.
But she really struck a point there. somebody on the support group this morning was saying, my dad is taking care of my mom all the time and he never goes anywhere and does anything anymore. And I said, do you know his friends? And she said, yes. I said, maybe you could call one of his friends and say, can you come and take him out for a little while?
Yeah.
And then one of the guys on the support group, whose wife passed away a couple of years ago, and they're like around the same age as us, she said, why don't you just tell a friend to call him up and say, I'm picking you up Tuesday at 10.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's even better.
So it's not so much asking, it's kind of like telling.
Yeah. We're doing it.
Yeah,
and sometimes you need to be told what to do when you're a caregiver. Yes, please tell me to go out and have lunch.
Yeah, it's just a matter of fact. It's not whether we're going to or not. We're going at 11.
Yeah.
I agree.
You should do that for
Absolutely. That's smart. Very smart.
Yeah. And you know what? You have to remember caregivers. As much as you think you're the bomb caregiver, it's my responsibility. Only I can do this. You're not the only one that can wash dishes. You're not the only one that can do laundry. You're not the only one that can pick up groceries.
And if you continue down that road, you won't be there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's a fact.
Right. 2 weeks ago, one of my caregivers died before his wife, taking care of his wife. His wife they were in independent living. Right. She should have been in memory care.
Right.
Well, now he's gone.
Yeah. And that's created a crisis.
Yeah. And then many times your worst scenario comes true. So I want you to talk about this now. I want you to talk about this. I'm perfectly healthy. I have to have conversations with my family and what I want and what I want to do. So just for instance, a couple months ago, my granddaughter said to me, I was talking to my husband, Grandma, and you can't live here when you retire. Or when you're older. When you're older. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, you have an upstairs and a downstairs. I said, I got this place because an upstairs and a downstairs is going to keep me alive.
I gotta climb those stairs every day.
Really? If I have to bring two things upstairs, I just bring up one at a time. It makes me exercise. It tracks my steps. I said, and when the time comes, if I can't, you're going to get me one of those scooter chairs.
It goes up on the rail, yeah.
And thank you so much for thinking of me.
I'll start saving for my chair.
Yeah, but it's true. I need to have that conversation.
Yeah, of course.
I need to have that conversation that this is what I want. And this is where I want to be and what. And I'm glad that they're having a conversation with me. And we're having this conversation way before anything I'm going to ever need.
Yeah, I think it's just matter of fact. A lot of times not talking about it is not the solution.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's with most problems in life.
Yeah.
If you just ignore it, you think it's going to go away. It doesn't go away. It festers. It gets bigger. And then it explodes. Yeah. And then it explodes. And then you're going to find that once it explodes, there are things beyond your control that you can't change anymore. And we don't want that to happen.
And there would have been easier solutions ahead of before that. You just don't know about them.
And you won't have to think about it anymore.
Correct. Oh my gosh.
How many times, I don't care what your problem is, you're laying in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Round and round. The monkey chatter.
And I don't do anything about it the next day.
Yep. Still there.
2 nights later. I even do that with myself with answering stinking emails.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. So sometimes I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, answer the darn thing.
I write a list just of a few things, and they must be done the next day. Otherwise, nothing gets done.
Yeah. And if you miss something off the list, you're okay, though.
Yeah,
I throw the list up, start over again.
Your list is on a whiteboard, right? All right. Well, it's now time to hear from our wonderful partners. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week. And did you know they got the Reader's Choice Award for 2019 for the best chiropractic in Pinellas County? So check them out.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars resource library for support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
Guaranteed to make you laugh through your tears, Linda Burhan's book, Good Night and God Bless, is filled with humor and heartfelt inspiration to aid anyone facing the challenge of caring for a loved one at the end of life. Her story offers hope for human strength and understanding of weaknesses during a difficult time. Life doesn't normally prepare us to become a loved one's caregiver. When it happens, it's usually sudden. A diagnosis of an illness, age-related frailty, dementia, and life suddenly is anything but normal. And because we don't even know what we don't know, where do we turn to for help or guidance? In Connecting Caregivers, Answers to the Questions You Didn't Know You Needed to Ask, Linda offers information, education, and inspiration from her own experience and from experts whose advice, practical tools, and personal stories will empower and guide you. Make sure to add these inspiring books to your collection today. Available on Amazon.com.
Introducing the life-changing Footbar Walker.
I'm Peggy from Danville, Kentucky, and I'm 91 years old. The Footbar Walker revolutionized my care of George. It absolutely benefits the patient and the caregiver both, and that's the beauty of it. It's so easy to use. It folds up just like a dream. I got it in and out of the car without any effort at all. The saving that I made from having to put him in a nursing home came to about $192,000.
Does someone you love use a walker? Do they struggle to get up from a seated position? Are you a caregiver dealing with physical pain and stress as you help your patient? The Footbar Walker was designed to assist not only the patient, but also the caregiver. Patients have more control standing up, and no lifting from the caregiver is required. See how it works at thefootbarwalker.com. That's thefootbarwalker.com. Peggy, would you recommend the Footbar Walker?
Do I ever? I would not be in the health that I'm in today at this age had it not been for the Footbar Walker.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
So you guys know how I love Peggy, but I have to say, during the conference, each day we had AE Corner come in, which is AE is Adaptable Equipment Corner. And they came in one day with the Footbar Walker and showed exactly how it works, and a lot of other fabulous products that can help your loved one unbelievably. Anyone who registered for the conference, they'll receive 21 videos of the conference within 30 days. You need to share this, and you need to share these ideas because they were fabulous speakers and presenters to the total conference. But when those people saw those little tools that could make mom being able to feed herself, or the meal lifter.
Yeah, wonderful.
Just fabulous stuff. And Cindy and Christina are going to be here in September. I'll finally get to meet them in person and be on the show, but they just got an award from Instagram for like 58,000 views of how to put on compression socks.
Oh, nice. I need to see that because every time I fly, I struggle with those darn things. How do you get them on? I don't understand.
Well,
it's a struggle.
I gave a Tuesday tip about that. My most watched tip out of everything I have on YouTube is how to put on compression socks.
It's really easy if you watch your tip.
If you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Because I used to put my husband's on and I cursed every day. But it's really easy. My niece showed me how to do it.
And so much good information I gave, even with other things on trying to use different things that were hard to grip. If you just put on rubber gloves, or if you get those gardening gloves with just a little grip, you're able to help someone get things up. And the whole thing is too, all the equipment and everything they show is once again about dignity.
Yeah.
About dignity. I mean, the one company, Comfort Fit, and he's giving out a free, what they do is they have a base on wheels that can adapt to your chair. They will measure your chair and send you the right base and the right screw and the drill bit and everything so you can screw it into the wheels on your chair. And it all came from, there was a gentleman that always ate dinner and breakfast and lunch at the dinner table. And he did not want to eat on a snack table.
Right.
He did not want to eat from his recliner. Yeah. And he was stopping eating. And so they
adapted him to the table.
Yeah.
Literally.
They adapted the wheels to the chair, and because his wheelchair couldn't get to the table. And now he can sit down and eat dinner again, and he's eating again. So there's like so many different ways that these things can help. So please pay attention to that. And a whole bunch of people contacted me through the website, and we're going to pick a winner for a set of those wheels this week. So thank you to Comfort Tech. So Sean, we talked about a lot at the conference yesterday. One of the things we talked about qualifying, and you made X amount of dollars, but you made $1 over.
Right.
Can you mention that a little bit?
Sure. When we talk about Medicaid and want to get eligible for those benefits, the state of Florida applies an asset and an income test, how much assets you have and what your income is. So the income test has capped at $2,742 of gross income per month. So if the guy who's applying for Medicaid is below that number, at or below, you're okay and you pass the income test. If you are above that, even by $1, you're disqualified from these benefits because you have too much income to qualify. But there's a solution to that problem called, technically it's called a qualified income trust. And what this does, effectively, it allows you to open up a bank account at your local bank in the name of this trust. And then for every $1 that you put into that bank account is $1 that can subtract from Mr. Applicant's income. So if he had $2,743 of income, he's $1 over, he's disqualified for benefits, too much income. Creates an income trust, opens up this bank checking account, puts that $1 in every month. He's now at or below because it subtracts, and he's eligible for benefits.
Wow.
Yeah, you should. I see that face. I see that, and you're like, "What? Is that legal?" So, yeah, it's absolutely bizarre. We have one law that says you can't be eligible, and then we have another law that says yes, you can.
You have to know the rules.
Crazy.
I like that yes, you can one.
Yeah, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Me too. Me too.
All right, one last thing I want to mention today. There is Empath Hospice is having a 100th birthday party.
Wow.
So if you were 98 years old or older, you're invited to this 100th birthday party. It is Wednesday, May 24th from 1 to 3 at the Gathering Place in Clearwater. I went there, it was before COVID, to one of these 100th birthday parties and just had the opportunity to go out around and interview all the people and say,
I was with you that time.
Yeah, how do you get to be 100?
So it's 98-year-olds or older.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I was going to sign you up for your big birthday that's coming up.
So are you going to be there for your birthday?
What a friend you are. So if you're interested, you can contact me at Linda Burhans at AOL, or you can call them directly at 727-523-3427. One last thing, Diapers for Dignity. If you do not have incontinence supplies, if you cannot afford them, you can contact the Disability Achievement Center in Largo. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in today. I know your time is precious. I appreciate you, caregivers. I'm here to help you in any way I can. If I don't have the answer, I know someone who does. Remember, God loves you, and have a delicious day. Woo.